You know, it's actually a very good question, Geno360. At the end of the day, would I rather side with my friends or side against the opposition to moderators? The simple answer is I don't think that that's ever an issue that'll come up. Because in Femitheist vision of a post-feminist world, moderators would not exist anyway. The standard of life would be so different that we would not be able to talk in terms of moderators or no moderators or things like that. Because, like I said, I do have facts to back up that 90% of all moderators are men. And so when I look at the world as it is today, not what it would be like tomorrow, I cannot predict the future, but as we know the world today, yes, men play a large role in the moderator problem. Not to say that, you know, all men are moderators, but 9 out of 10 times, moderators are men. So if you got rid of the men, you would get rid of the moderator problem vicariously. Does this mean that there's no possible way that women could take the role of moderators? No. But given the fact that women have a different nature than men, given the fact that there's no evidence to support that women would be able to replace moderators, then why worry about it? I would figure, if anything else, it would be a different standard completely. While moderators might still exist, they would not exist as they do today, and it would be a different kind of problem. And if it's a different kind of problem, then you have to have a different answer and a different way of fighting that problem. I am fighting the moderator problem as it exists today, not how it could exist tomorrow. And that's how I manage to side with Femitheists and at the same time retain my hate moderators first mentality. I do not think that in any way that the two are in conflict. If anything, it only helps me because it's true what she says. Men are vindictive, men are hateful, men are violent, men are power hungry. And, you know, proof is most moderators are men and they exhibit all those qualities. So if that means getting my balls chopped off, if that means getting all men's balls chopped off, then so be it. And quite frankly, I think it's a bit of a leap of logic to assume that Femitheist ideology would come into fruition in 100% completion. I mean, let's face it, I'm sure Femitheist knows that most likely we are not going to live in a world where men have castration day and things like that. I'm sure that's what she desires, and I'm sure that she'll work towards trying to make that happen. But I'm sure she's realistic, and the fact that, no, even in her lifetime, she is never going to see anything remotely like that. The best she can hope for is that by the time that she's old and dies, that she left something behind. That the world was a little better off than when she was in it. And that's all I can do. I cannot say with certainty that by the time I'm old and 90 and on my deathbed, moderators will be exterminated. But at least I did something. And that's all we can really do. I mean, we have this vision in our head of what we would like the world to be like, and if that's what motivates us to keep moving forward, then go with it. But, you know, you can't base your politics and your ideology off of an absolute vision, off of, like, this is the way the world is going to be, that's it. No, you have to be pragmatic about it. And I think Femitheist knows that. I think Femitheist knows that, you know, things never really plan out as you had hoped. You know, life has a way of throwing a wrench in your plans. And you have to predict that, and then you have to use that to your advantage. The world has just as much chaos in it as it does mediocrity. And you have to try to manipulate that. You have to manipulate the mediocrity to work to your advantage, that the world stay the way you want it to, and stay good. And you have to work with the chaos to know that there will always be ways to change things, and that 9 out of 10 times, shit will not go as you planned it to. It's like Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Even though I don't believe in Murphy's Law per se, because Murphy's Law implies that things go wrong for everybody. And clearly that's not the case, because look at fucking Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the biggest moderators. He is an asshole. He should be dead, but he's not. And to top it all off, the worst thing that's happened to him is his stock portfolio went down by 1%. Ooh, clearly Murphy's Law isn't applying to him. But what I do believe is, as I always say, it gets worse. And that's just entropy. It just means that over time, things consecutively get more evil and more despicable and more ridiculous. And that's a combination of both chaos and mediocrity. It's a combination of both. Things have a rhythm to it, and at the same time, they don't have a rhythm to it. It's unpredictable. And it comes down to physics, trying to apply philosophy to quantum physics, but the best thing I can tell you is that no, I don't think Femitheist ideology is an opposition of mine, and I think if we did live in a post-Femitheist world where men had castration day and, you know, the world was a matriarchy and things like that, I don't think moderators could exist, because it would be a completely different world. It would not be a capitalist world. It would not be a patriarchal world. It would not be a world as we know it today where the internet is primarily lols, cats, and porn. It would not be a world where 4chan and Facebook are the biggest monoliths of internet power. So, because it would be so vastly different, I don't think moderators could survive in that environment. So, you know, it's basic evolution. You cannot expect the same kind of creatures to be the predominant force if the environment is upside down. And that's why I back Femitheist up so vividly. That's why I back her up so loyally. Because she wants a very different world than the one we live in today. And the one we live in today is fucking terrible. So, you know, that's why I side with her. It has nothing to do with the fact that, you know, men should have the balls cut off and stuff like that. It's just, yes, this world is bad. We have nowhere to go but up. So, you know, I'm willing to side with Femitheist, even if that means me, as a man, have to lose my balls. Because you know what? I was already neutered a long time ago. From the fact that everybody's always overpowering me, telling me what to do, telling me what I can say and where I can go. I have nothing to lose from it. I have nothing to lose from there being a male castration day. The world will still continue on. There will still be life. There will still be a population. Femitheist has thought this through, of how reproduction will happen and how men will save their semen before the castration. And then if women so choose to get impregnated, then they can. And that's how the human race will continue. So it's not like she just wants the human race to die or hasn't thought it through and the human race would die. She knows how, you know, the biological process works and that you do need sperm to fertilize the egg. But she has thought that through into a way where, you know, we can exist without men while simultaneously still continuing the human race. And, you know, I give her credit for that, too. Because not many people actually do that. Many people want a utopian, but don't see it through. They don't get into the technicals, the nitty-gritty, dark aspects that make your position unpopular. Femitheist doesn't care if people like or dislike her. Femitheist doesn't care if people think her ideas are barbaric. She knows that it's right. She has experienced the evils of men at their utmost darkest, and knows that there is nowhere to go but up to. That's why we get along so well. We have seen evil's true face, and we know that there's no other choice in the matter. Things might not go the way we plan them to, but we have to do something. We have to continue on and try to at least try to change things for the better. So that's how I justify things. So no, I honestly don't think there will ever come a time where I will have to either choose Femitheist or moderators. It won't happen. It won't happen because it's too vastly different. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope that gives you a better understanding of why me and Femitheist are such good friends, and why I consider her, quite frankly, the only person on YouTube that has my utmost respect. I mean, I have a lot of respect for many YouTubers. You know, there's Undertaker Freak, there's Brain Enema, there's James Evangelical 99, obviously. He's a good friend of mine. But there is no one on YouTube I revere and just hold up to such a high standard as Femitheist. She's the only other person I think truly understands what good and evil is. I think she's the only other person that has witnessed evil, has had to look it in the face, and it has affected her greatly, just as it's affected me greatly. She's the only other person I can relate to on that level. And unfortunately, as much as I like my other friends and stuff, I don't think they understand that. I don't think they've been through what Femitheist has been through, and I can't even say I've been through what Femitheist has been through, but I think the end result is the same, that now we understand what good and evil actually is. So I hope that satisfies your inquisitive nature.